She weaves a siren spell. Bluebell, she has a tale to tell of o'er that lay where mountain flowers wave, and mining men lay down in an early grave.
My name is Baillie-Grohman. At the time of the incident from the Bluebell mine, I was a freelance engineer operating in the Kootenai district. In the spring of 1882, 4 men were on Kootenai Lake scanning the shoreline for signs of prospectors who'd been there before them.
Sproule! When are you going to take a turn on this oar?
I can't right now, Myers. I gotta watch for that ledge.
Oh, you've been saying that for miles. You haven't done a thing all day but stand there looking out that spyglass.
Oh, change off with Hunley. We're really close.
Yeah, Maj, you all bail for a while. All right. Hard work, ain't it, Hudna?
It sure is.
Yeah, watch out there.
My God, what country, Sproule? You all think we really got a chance of finding that ledge?
According to the map, it should be right around the next bend.
Or the next bend, or the next. Hey, this goddamn water comes in just as fast as I can pitch it out.
Look, there it is.
Where?
Right there.
Hey, I see it! Goddamn!
Come on, let me have those oars. Let's get ashore. I got a feeling about this place.
I got a feeling in my ass.
Here we are. Hand me that rope. Let's pull her up on the beach a ways in case the wind blows up.
Hey, why don't we just tie the rope to a rock?
Pull her up. Then find a good place to camp. I'm gonna look at that ledge.
Oh, man. Pull her up? Is he kidding?
Sproul's terrified of rough water, and I hear tell this lake breeds storms.
Oh, come on, Hudna. Oh, damn, she's a heavy bastard. Hey, there's hardly a breeze. I don't know what he's so worried about.
Hey, get on up here. I found it.
Hey, listen!
I found it. Wait till you see this.
Oh, this better be good.
Take a look at this.
Hey, wow!
Hey, let's see that.
That is heavy!
Oh, I think you done it this time. Hey, take a look at that, Hudna.
looking.
I found it on the ground underneath the overhang.
Sproule, I got to hand it to you. That is high-grade ore.
Hey, come on, let's look around!
He must have abandoned it a long time ago. Look, there's a broken stake.
My, oh my, what a beautiful place! There's bluebells just growing everywhere.
You said it, Hunley. I'll call it the Bluebell claim. Now let's get to work.
Oh, damn.
4 claims were staked: the Bluebell, the Ruby, the Comfort, and the Kootenai Chief.
Good meal, Myers.
Man, it's your turn tomorrow, Hudna.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Glad it ain't you, Sproule. Ooh, those last biscuits you made. Hey, they were as heavy as ore we found today. Hey, coffee?
Sure.
Hey, Sproule, I know y'all a big experienced Yankee prospector, but how did y'all find out about this place?
Lots of people know about this place. Dudney knew about it back in '65. Before that, the Indians used to dig it for silver for their arrowheads. Guy Reeder staked it once, but he never registered it. Finally gave up because he couldn't see any way of getting the ore out.
Hey, that's still going to be a problem.
Nope, nope, not a chance. I got it all figured out. I got a feeling we're all gonna be rich.
The summer wore on, and Sproule made some trips to Sandpoint, Idaho to register the claims by mail and to get more supplies. They labored all summer and into October and were again running out of supplies.
God damn, there's no sense rolling out and back in for just a few more days working. There ain't enough grub to last at the end of October.
I volunteer to leave at any time.
Now, men, we've got to stick together.
Oh, a lot of good I see working here. How the hell are we going to get the ore out anyway? I tell you one thing. I'm not rolling the goddamn stuff out.
You won't have to if you just listen.
Listen, Sproule, I've been listening to you for too long.
Yes, Sproule man gets tired of just digging and digging and having nothing to show
Yeah,
for.
for all we know, we might be digging our own grave.
Meanwhile, there's men out there that's living it up, and we just stuck here in the middle of nowhere.
Calm down, Jesse. Let's talk this over reasonable.
Reasonable hell. Sproule, you should talk. You're one of the most unreasonable characters I ever met.
Don't push your luck, Myers.
Oh, it's just that I'm tired of digging is all. There's got to be an easier way.
Yeah, and how do we get the ore out?
By boat.
Oh, boat? I've had enough of boats. I want to go somewhere where I can ride horses.
Listen, this ore is so good we could tell them to build a smelter right here.
Ah, Sproule, you and your dreams, can't you see they're never...
You can leave any time you want.
Yeah, and it might be sooner than you think.
All right. Now
Sproule,
listen.
I am tired of listening.
God damn it! We've managed to get our claims registered without any trouble. We've got more grub and supplies without any trouble. We've got it all set up here without any trouble. And now you bastards want to leave a fortnight before the end of open season.
I have wanted to get out of here for the last 3 months.
They're sitting out there just waiting for something like this.
Oh, who is?
I've seen the fires across the lake.
Oh, that could have been anybody. Could have been Indians.
We're not the only ones that know about this place.
Oh, come on. What fool would be out here prospecting in the middle of October?
There's a fortune in these rocks. We're sitting on top of a boom. But we've got to set it up right, or some bastard will come along and skim off the gravy while we end up doing all the work.
Look, somebody has to row out, get supplies, row back in again. By that time, the season's going to be over.
Yeah, and if we all stay, we'll just run out that much sooner.
Then get out! I'll stay and work the claim myself.
You don't work the claim anyway. You just work building that goddamn powder shack.
Somebody has to think of the future. If it was left up to you, we'd never get anywhere.
Oh, I'm tired of this argument. I'm packing up.
Oh, Jesse, you can't just walk
If
out.
you're such a goddamn visionary, Sproule, you would have brought in enough supplies in the first place. I'm tired eating the same old grub.
Mars, I'm sick and tired of your bellyache, and I've had it up to here.
Yeah? Well, I'm leaving with hundreds.
What about you, Hudnut? You gonna run out of me, too?
Well, you can call it anything you want, Sproule. I'm leaving.
Son of a bitch. Let's see. Flowers all gone. 3 spuds. 5 days to go. Sproule, you're talking to yourself. You're cracking up. I can't stay any longer. Just enough grub to make it to Sandpoint. I'd better leave a note. Where's the goddamn writing paper? Maybe I ought to just lie down and sweat it out. Oh, here's some. Let's see. We ran out of provisions. Gone out for the winter. Claims registered. Be back in the spring. I'll mail it up on the Bluebell claim. 5 days. Jesus, I'd like to get my hands on the bastard who wrote the law about open prospecting. Oh well, nothing I can do about it. Can't stay here.
All right, man, look lively. Woodbury, you take a couple of lads up through there and keep a sharp lookout. Check over the claims and meet us at the cabin.
Right, Tom. All right, come with me, you two.
Blaisdell, you and I'll go up here. Looks like a lot of work has gone on. Well, all the better for us. Don't worry about the boat, Jerry. Secure the bowline around a rock or something. Excellent, excellent. Well, lads, this is what we've been waiting for.
I don't know about this. What if they return?
Oh, don't worry. Here comes Woodbury. What do you find out?
I found a note. Tacked to one of the claims.
Let me have that. Good, good, yes.
What's it say?
It says they were driven out by illness and lack of provisions. And it's signed, Robert Sproule.
He intends on returning in the spring.
Spring is a long way off, and there's still 5 days to go in open season.
I don't know. It's too much like claim jumping for me.
That's not claim jumping. Not if these claims have been abandoned, it's quite obvious they have.
I don't like it.
Let's not haggle about it further. Ainsworth put me in charge, and I say we restake.
What if Sproule returns next spring, like he said in the note?
Then he's in for a little surprise. We'll be in possession of the claim.
You're probably right, but I still have a funny feeling about it.
Nah, nonsense. You wouldn't want us to pass up a chance like this. This is the kind of opportunity the company pays us to exploit.
Yeah. Chances are they won't return anyway. A lot of things can change by the spring.
Good. Then it's settled. Let's go to work. Blaisdell, take some men down and unload the boat and come back up and we'll start to restake.
Okay, you're the boss.
Woodbury, show me where you found a note.
It's quite a nice setup, actually. It's called the Bluebell. Nice name, don't you think?
Quite. It has a friendly ring to it.
Hamill's party wintered across the lake at Hot Springs. Sproule and his men stayed in Sandpoint.
Hey, Sproule, what's a man like you doing in a den of iniquity like this? Hey!
It'll be spring in a few more weeks, and we should start getting ready.
Oh, yeah, wasting another year slaving away at the rock and rowing in and out of Kootenai Lake.
Listen, they got launches working the lake now, and we can get them to bring the supplies in and take the ore out.
Oh, well, now that sounds a little better.
Then you with me, Jesse?
Oh, yeah, I guess I always been a sucker for prospecting.
Yeah, I don't know why I let you talk me into these adventures of yours, but yeah, I guess you can count me in too, Sproule. Hey, Sproule, there's somebody at our claim.
I knew it. Keep rolling, I want to get ashore. Come on, let's pull hard. I think I know what it is.
Claim jumping. God!
Oh, yeah, if you jumping the gun now.
Save your breath for rowing. We'll find out soon enough. Hudnut, get ready with a rope. We'll run her right up on the beach. Hand me my rifle. We'll find out about this. Ready. All right. Let's go.
Hey, there's someone coming on down the beach. Who's that?
Hey, you. What is all this? What do you think you're doing?
I'm just working here.
These are my claims.
Nothing I can do about it. I was just hired to come here and work.
Who hired you?
The Ainsworth Company.
Who's in charge?
Tom Hamill.
Where is he?
He was at the top of the hill when I was coming down. Tom, these men were wanting to know...
We're wanting to know who's in charge here.
I am. Can I help you?
What do you think you're doing?
What the hell?
We're working at our claim.
Your claims?
What is this?
Why, yes.
For your information, mister, these are my claims.
That's right.
Then you must be Mr. Sproule. You abandoned these claims.
Abandoned! Mister, I'm not fooling around now. Get your crew together and get out.
I'm afraid you made a mistake. These claims are ours.
No way!
We have registered them with the Gold Commissioner in Wild Horse. You see, it's all quite legal.
You're pushing your luck, mister.
Hey, Sproule, calm down a little. You can't think straight when you work.
Shut up! All right, all right. Listen, I said on my note what happened. I said I'd be back in the spring. Now that ought to be enough. Any respectable man would see that note and understand.
Yeah.
Now maybe you don't know much about the law, being an Englishman.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a chance. You got 24 hours to pack up and get off the Bluebell.
Very generous of you, but we are staying here. It's you who must leave.
What the hell makes you think you can come in here and just take over?
Now you listen here. You abandoned these claims 5 days before the end of open prospecting season. And your men left some time before you.
Oh, we didn't have any food.
These claims had been legally abandoned before we restaked.
So it was you watching me.
Let's just say we were prospecting nearby.
You claim jumping bastard.
Sproule, let's wait till a law gets here, eh? I mean, there are more of them than there is of us, and
You
we
better be careful when you cross my path.
I'm afraid I'm tired of this conversation. Men, let's depart and wait for the due course of the law.
I'll have your ass out of here if it costs me every damn cent I ever earned.
Ha! 'Twould be a mere tuppence to what our company could afford.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Sproule hired me as a consultant in his lawsuit. And since your opponent secured the best mining lawyer in British Columbia, I deemed it wise to take a similar precaution and engage the only other available Victoria lawyer, who at the last moment was unable to come. And I had to undertake the defense myself. The Gold Commissioner, Kelly, came to the claim site to hear the cases. It was a somewhat memorable scene. The canoe bringing him in had been sighted from the enemy's camp, for the little cove in which it lay faced the south. Forgetting for the moment all the dire threats exchanged by the two camps, the inmates of both camps streamed down to the shore to receive the representative of the law. Two camps had each built themselves a log cabin or two. Therefore, it became unavoidable Judge Kelly should take up his quarters in one of the two rival camps.
Now, boys, I think it'll be only fair to both parties if I sleep in one camp and grub in the other. Now, who's got the best cook?
The largest cabin in the two camps was chosen as a courthouse, and court opened on August the 31st.
Gentlemen,
Gentlemen, now before sitting down, would you please deposit your 6-shooters in this box beside my chair? That way, we can keep everything fair and even.
Litigation had resolved itself into 4 distinct cases, where each of the 2 parties had taken up the same 4 claims on the big ledge. After some adjournment and much deliberation, Judge Kelly gave his decision on October the 16th, 1883.
Now, after every effort had been made to stay till the end of the season, sick and out of grub and leaving written instructions, Sproule left the claims behind. Now, this could happen to anyone. I've done some prospecting in my day, and you sometimes get these unfortunate twists of fate, like Sproule miscalculating on his grub stake and illness. There's no possible way he could have informed Wild Horse he'd be away for the last 5 days of the season. So I say, because of causes beyond their control, it was impossible for these men to comply with the mining regulations. I find in favor of Hoodnut, Moyers, Hunley, and Sproule.
Hey, we'll appeal to the Supreme Court. You'll not get away with this mockery of justice.
What y'all think this Judge Bigby, the Supreme Court, will be like, Sproule?
I don't know. I've heard people refer to him as the hanging judge. If Grohman hadn't buggered off to England, we might stand a better chance.
I'm terribly afraid business in connection with my land concessions makes it impossible for me to give the matter my special attention. However, I do know a good lawyer.
Yeah, the same lawyer who didn't show up before didn't show up again.
Yeah, call away to Ottaway.
And we're stuck with a rookie while Ainsworth's got the best. Come on, let's go inside.
Yeah.
Quiet, please. I find that Myers, Hudnuts, and Hunley abandoned their claims before the end of open prospecting season. Therefore, the ground was legally restaked by Hammill, Blaisdell, and Woodbury. Mr. Sproule, however, made every possible effort to stay on the Bluebell, so I'm awarding that claim to him. Now, there is something here I don't agree with, but there's nothing I can do about it, except to give this warning. The men in the Ainsworth party seem to be expert prospecting opportunists. I point to the fact that they waited nearby until Sproule left. The fact that they were ready to contest the matter in the lower court, as well as here in the Supreme Court. All this adds up to them taking every opportunity to win the mines, even to the point of being professional claim jumpers.
What y'all gonna do now, Sproule?
I promised Grohman I'd deed him 1/3 of the Bluebell.
A third? A third? God damn!
The spring of 1885.
I was riding at a trot towards Sandpoint, along a narrow trail at a point where it twisted to a particularly dense piece of forest, when suddenly I saw Sproule, half concealed behind a big pine, with a rifle to his shoulder, taking deliberate aim at me.
Yes, go on.
Well, the tree was fortunately not more than 3 feet from the trail. My horse, suddenly perceiving the figure, shied violently. The same instant, the Sproule pulled the trigger.
No.
He missed me clean, and next instant, the terrified animal was tearing along the trail, taking me out of Sproule's sight before he had a chance to pump in another cartridge.
Sounds like a very close call.
Very close. The shot was fired at such close quarters that my right hand, which I suppose I must have thrown up instinctively, bore powder marks.
Hey, Sproule, you gonna work on that mine of yours again this year?
Yeah, I have to make up for what Grohman and Hammill beat me out of.
Hey, Lil!
What you want, big boy?
Hey, that's for me to know and you to find out.
What you got left?
I still got 3/4 of the Bluebell.
Was Grohman gonna mine his share?
No, he sold it.
Who's got enough?
Hammill.
Hammill. That must anger you some.
He'll never mine it. Mark my word.
Hey, I heard you threatened to shoot.
That self-important bastard. I wouldn't waste the ammunition.
Hey, well, did you know Grohman was staying here in Sandpoint?
He's here?
Yeah, he's staying with Weeks of Postman.
Listen, I got an idea. Hey, keep it down, will ya?
Would you boys like another cup of coffee?
No, thanks. I'll be up all night as it is.
I heard Sproule's getting some of the boys riled up against you.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of talk in the post office. Maybe you ought to leave town for a while.
Nonsense. No one is running me out of Sandpoint. Least of all Sproule.
I'll stick with you. They've been harassing me, too. Besides, I'm curious. I've never been in a situation quite like this. It's the Old West, all right.
There's a shack not far from here you can hold up.
Well, we can stay there.
The young Englishman and I went to the shack and waited. We threw our bedding in a corner, and I dusted off the table and sat down to work at my correspondence. All was quiet until...
Hey, you in there! We're from the committee. That's it. The committee of the town. Hey, answer me in there.
Why don't you knock on the door and announce yourself like any civilized gentleman?
Get out of here. Gentlemen. Hey, you hear that? Yeah. I heard. We're going to knock on the door like he says. Yeah. Come on, Grover. Hey, committee of the town. We're not talking to that mad Englishman, Baillie-Grohman.
Oh, the door is open. State your business.
Look, mister, there are certain people in this town who think the town ain't big enough for both of you. You know what I mean?
You mean person, don't you?
You know what I mean. We're telling you to get out of town.
Yeah, we're down. Hey, right, Dick?
Yeah, right. You got one chance to get out of town, and that's the eastbound night freight.
And if I don't?
Don't say you weren't warned, mister.
I see.
Yeah, that's it, mister. Be out in the eastbound freight. Come on, man.
Hey, we told him, eh, Jake? Hey, you think you get the night freight?
I'm getting nervous sitting around here. I think I'll go over to Weeks and get some canned goods.
It's starting to get dark. You'd best hurry now before anything happens.
I'll try and find out what's going on.
Be careful now.
I'll be all right. I used to study boxing. There's a couple of Sproule's friends posted with rifles. One out front and one behind the cabin. They've each got a bottle.
I'll have a look.
It's payday. The whole town's on a binge.
Look, the two sentries are getting together for a social drink.
We could slip out the back door if we wanted.
We can't do that. All we have to do is put the lamp out and wait. I think they're only trying to scare us. Get down! That went right through the wall.
Those crazy buggers! It's a good thing we put the lamp out. Well, we made it through that one.
Well, thank you for everything. I think I'll get in the smoking car and relax until I get to Rathdrum.
Why are you going there?
The nearest place I can swear out a warrant against Sproule.
Well, I hope you don't have any further trouble. Oh, look, the train's getting ready to pull out. Goodbye.
Forget you.
Time to approach the trestle of Pondray Lake. Guess I'll move on up the cars.
Thank you for the matches.
Pleasure.
So, you're going to Rathdrum to swear out a warrant against him?
Sproule.
That's right. I jumped aboard when the train slowed down for the trestle.
What do you want?
You're not going to Rathdrum.
Sproule, if you think I'm just going to let you get away with...
You're not going. This 45 will blow your head off right here if you don't step off with me at Algoma.
Now, listen.
Grohman, you talked me out of a fortune,
But
remember?
surely you don't think that I...
Didn't you hear me? I'm tired of you fat-ass capitalists doing me out of what's mine.
But,
Enough! Let's just settle down here and enjoy our ride to Algoma. I don't want to hear a peep out of you. My hand could clinch up around the trigger if I was to get angry. Ah, Algoma.
Bob, what are you doing on the train?
Oh, just stopping off in Algoma to see some friends.
All right. I get off shift here. Come on, I'll buy you a drink.
Well, you know I ain't much of a drinking man.
Come on, do you good.
Oh, I might have a beer.
What about your friend there?
Him? Nah, he had a rough night last night. Didn't get too much sleep.
Bluebell, she waited through the years. Bluebell, the forest knew her fear. A bullet broke the sky.
In the spring of 1885, Sproule was manager of the newly formed Kootenai Mining Company, under the control of Dr. Hendricks. Sproule had traded his remaining 2/3 of the Bluebell for shares in the new company, which owned the Comfort, most of the Bluebell, and had several claims on the other side of the lake. Thomas Hammill was still in the employ of the Ainsworth Company and was supervising work on the Kootenai Chief, as well as keeping an eye on his interest in the Bluebell. On May the 31st, in the little settlement of Hot Springs, Hammill was having lunch with Henry Anderson, a newly appointed constable of the BC Police.
Hey, more coffee?
No, thank you. I really should be going.
I think I'll have another. You know, I really appreciate you filling me in about this. It helps to have some background information.
Nah, think nothing of it. I realize the difficulty involved in a job like yours. I think a lot of business deal... Hey, there's somebody coming.
Yes?
I have a letter for you from Doc Hendricks.
We're having lunch. Would you care to join us?
No.
Well, I must be going, Henry. Thank you for lunch. It's, excuse me.
Is that Hammill a friend of yours?
He's an acquaintance. Will you cross the lake this evening? After all, there is a big storm.
The wind picked up, and Sproule decided to stay overnight at the cabin of Charles Molson.
Kind of you to put me up.
It's crazy to take a chance on the lake in a storm like this, especially in the...
Yeah, rough water scares the hell out of me. Best of times. Mind if I put on a pot of coffee?
Not at all. Help yourself.
Thanks.
I hear that Hammill is going to work on the Bluebell.
Hammill?
I was here all summer. Hammill bought it. You can't stop him from working his share.
Oh, I can't, can I? If he ever puts a foot on that claim, I'll fix him.
If you notify him, I don't think he'd work it.
Let's get some sleep.
Seems crazy to me to brew about something that happened 3 years ago.
You ready? I'm gonna blow this lamp out.
What about your coffee?
Molson awoke about 5 o'clock the next morning. Sproule was already up and on his way. From his cabin window, Molson could see Sproule halfway across the lake, rowing hard for the other side. Sproule arrived at his cabin on the beach near the Bluebell and set the Wolf brothers and Charles House to work.
We need some wagon up at the shaft. House, you and Charlie could split some logs down here at the beach and pack them up.
Yeah, we'll take turns splitting and packing.
Adam, I want you to put some new handles in some picks.
That same morning, June the 1st, 1885, Thomas Hammill went to work at the Bluebell claim between 7 and 8 o'clock with Nick Villeneuve.
We had a long chat. I filled him in on most of the troubles we had with our friend Sproule. Then, speak of the devil, Sproule arrived to talk with Anderson.
He's a strange one, that Sproule. He'd ever bother you, all his threats?
If he really meant to do something, he would have done it by now. He's had lots of opportunity, eh?
I don't know. Some people just stew inside for a long time, building it up, then boom.
No, don't worry, Nick. Sproule has his hands full running around with Hendricks these days.
Well, there doesn't seem to be much for me to do here. I think I'll go over and work on the ruby.
Okay. I'll see you at the cabin for lunch.
Sometime between 10 and 11 o'clock, Villeneuve heard a rifle shot. He paid no attention to it, as game was plentiful, and a miner might want to kill some fresh meat. Then, on his way back to Hamill's cabin at noon...
Dad!
Tom! Good God, man! Tom! Jesus, what happened?
Nick,
Don't try and talk. I'll get Duncan.
Nick, don't get excited, Nick. God, Nick, I'm shot.
I'm going to the cabin to get Duncan.
You're so worried, Nick. Dad!
What is it, man? Come quick. Tom's been shot. Here he is through these bushes.
Let's take him up to the cabin. Oh, Tom. Did you ask him who did it?
Who did it, Tom?
Say I...
He's passed out. Come on. Easy now. Easy.
God, he's dying. I was with him when he died.
Did he say anything?
No, he never regained consciousness after we brought him to the cabin.
Take this blanket. We'll have to take the clothes off to examine the wound.
All right.
I'll help you. Easy now. The clothes are sticking.
Now the shirt. Will you help me turn him?
My God.
bullet must have entered in the back, right side.
Shot in the back. Poor Tom.
The bullet came out the left side, here, right below the hip at the center.
The shot must have come from above.
Yes, at an angle.
I see. Well, I guess that's all we can do here. Let's go and examine the ground.
This is the Bluebell site, look. There's a pick and a shovel.
There's blood on the pick handle and on the ground.
Let's go down to the hill to Sproule's cabin, see if we can find out more.
Look, there's a cartridge. It's a .44. Hey, Molson, what kind of rifle does Sproule have?
He has a 30-30 Winchester.
Maybe it wasn't Sproule's gun.
I went to Sproule's this morning.
Really? What time?
Well, I'm not sure exactly. Probably between 9 and 10.
What did he say?
He said, do you know on what claim Hammill is working? I told him no. I mean, I knew where Hammill was working, but I didn't want to tell him.
I understand. Please go on.
Well, I shouldn't say any more right now.
You're also reluctant to give information, but someone has to help. I have to know what happened so we can figure out what to do next. Now, what did he say?
Well, there's not much more that could be of importance.
You never know. Might as well tell it.
I said I'd go across the lake and look at a place where he wants some work done. He said, well, I'm going over as soon as I put the boys to work. If it doesn't storm. You know, he was afraid of the water. I said, all right, I'll be over as soon as I can.
Hey, look on the hill.
It's Sproule. Hey, you! You up there! Come on, let's get up there.
They hurried up the hill to the Bluebell and found 3 men at work on a shaft. Charles Wolfe, Adam Wolfe, and Charles House.
Are you aware of the fact that a murder has been committed on these claims?
Hell, I ain't been here all morning.
And where were you?
We were splitting lagging on the beach and packing it up here.
And where was Sproule during this time?
He went across the lake.
Around 7 or 8 o'clock.
Are you positive it was 7 or 8?
Oh, well. Not positive. It could have been later.
Could have been 8 or even 9.
We'd been busy at work and hadn't paid much attention.
I see. Well, what happened?
Well, Sproule tapped me on the shoulder and then said, "Here, you go and get dinner. I'm going across the lake to represent some claims." I looked at the clock and it was either 20 minutes to 10 or 20 to 11. I'm not sure.
Did he have a gun?
At first I thought not, but then when he climbed in the boat, he picked up a rifle and worked the lever as if he was going to put a cartridge in it.
He kept looking back up the hill.
Did you notice anything odd about his behavior?
Yeah, damn right. He started rowing to the north, and then he seemed to change his mind and turned around and started rowing to the south.
Well, I better send someone across the lake and see if he's been over there. I'll need statements. From you, Wolf, you too, House.
I went into the house about 10 o'clock and Sproule asked me to loan him my rifle. I loaned it to him and gave him 6 cartridges. It was a Maynard rifle. The cartridges were the shorter kind of the 2 produced.
Dinner time, a paper was on the table. It was a letter headed Kootenai Lake, June 1st, 85. It spoke of raising our wages $45 to $50 to stay by the claims and not let them be sacrificed. That he had business calling him away. Stay by the ship, boys. 3 times it says that. Bend to the oar. He also says that 3 times. There's some other words, but I don't recall them. It was signed R.E. Sproule.
Later, my brother and I went up to the shaft. House came afterwards and handed me one of the short cartridges, which he said he had picked up beside the trail near the house. A week after that, he picked up another at the spot where he showed me. He also gave me this one.
Did anyone else have any of these cartridges?
Nobody except myself and Sproule.
But where was the second cartridge found?
It was higher than where Hamill's body was found and about 75 yards away.
Did you lose any cartridges?
No.
You're certain, eh?
I know I had not lost any. If I had, they were the big...
The man Anderson had sent across the lake returned and reported there wasn't a trace of him.
Let's head south and look for him.
We went to the outlet of the lake and stopped to question some Indians camped there. One of the Indians pointed to the south. Anderson, Charles Molson, and the Indian pursued, and about 4 a.m. Tuesday they saw Sproule's boat with a sail up. They continued to gain.
We're getting closer. I think he's seen us. He's taking down a sail.
He's heading in for shore.
Let's try and get closer.
He'll smash his boat on those rocks.
He's crazy. I wouldn't take a chance on the boat smashing up.
He's made it. There he goes into the bush.
Well, let's land too. Molson, you and I can keep watch on Sproule's boat. We'll send our friend here.
The Indian returned with 10 men. Anderson dispatched Molson to crawl through the bush to Sproule's boat. sent more men to cut him off above, and set out to see if Sproule had taken a trail.
I don't know how we can manage to go through the brush here. There's no trail that I can see. That sounds like it's back near our camp. Let's go. What the hell was all the noise?
Shot bear.
Good. We'll have fresh meat.
About time.
Go and help him skin it, will you? I'll make the fire. It's too rocky here for him to go overland, so I imagine he'll leave again by boat. If that happens... Shh. All right, Sproule. Stop right there and throw down your rifle. I've been waiting for you. Throw down your rifle.
What?
Throw down your rifle!
All right, then.
Who's been mined away? Bluebell, the shafts are hushed today. Her sons are gone, but their voices fill the air with echoes of a dream turned to despair.
Paper! British Daily Colonist, Regina versus Sproule continued. Extra!
Victoria, Wednesday the 9th, December 1885.
The trouble with all of the witnesses in this case is that they have formed a theory in their own mind and are determined to carry it out right or wrong. Some of the circumstances look black enough against the prisoner, but 1,000 suspicions do not make one fact, and it is far more probable that Hammill, if he was murdered by an old enemy, for Hammill, I will prove, had been a professional claim jumper. I will now call on James Hobkirk.
I was in Colorado in 1879, 1880, and 1881, and I knew Hammill at Pitcairn. He began to jump town lots laid out by Wade until he received notice to quit the town. He then went prospecting and jumped some mining claims in the winter, and skipped out on being threatened with hanging.
I call John Duncan.
I was acquainted with Hammill for 3 years. We were very close. I was a warm friend of his. I don't think he had any enemies. I know he was not a professional claim jumper or a jackal of the Ainsworths. When I heard all the noise outside, I thought Hammill was in danger. I did not try to dissuade him from going to work that morning. All I said to him was, "Tom, look out for Sproule." He turned and smiled at me. I heard the shot come distinctly from where Hammill was, but I did not at that time connect it with any crime. It was about 3/4 of an hour from when I'd left Sproule to when I heard the shot. That son of a bitch! I know it was...
I realize you feel strongly in regard to this homicide, but I must remind you to answer the questions with coolness and objectivity.
Doesn't look very good, does it?
Well, it's still too early to tell.
I know when things are going wrong.
Perhaps if House were here...
Yeah, perhaps if House were here.
Well, listen, just try and grab a bite to eat. There's a lot more to come. I believe it is a matter of congratulations to all that the case is drawing to a close. More for the prisoner, of course, than anyone else. A letter of the prisoner's had a material bearing on the case, but the Crown has refused to allow it to be put in as evidence. If I were a juryman and anything that might tend to throw light upon the subject were withheld, I would refuse to convict. Every latitude should be allowed to a man in the prisoner's position. When Hammill was dying, he never said a word to leave one to judge that he believed himself to have been murdered. Therefore, even suicide was possible. There have been fearful cases of miscarriage of justice because of circumstantial evidence. The prosecution has suppressed mention of the many Indians around the scene of the crime. Indians have been known to kill white men. Was it improbable that they committed the crime? Sproule, far from hurrying from the scene of the crime, had used a trolling line while traveling in the boat. Meyer's evidence of Sproule's habits account entirely for the prisoner's conduct. If Hammill had been killed at any time in the last 3 years, it might have been possible to have established just as strong a chain of circumstantial evidence as that brought against the prisoner here. Sproule leaving his boat was perhaps a peculiar circumstance, but he'd done exactly the same thing the previous year, and if allowed, we would have shown Sproule believed there was a trail there. The boat seen by Duncan has never been accounted for. It could not have been Sproule's boat, because the time at which he started would have caused him to be far away. If Charles' house were here, he could either show that Sproule must have been guilty or else have established his innocence, for Charles' house seems to have been in Sproule's company a good deal of the time at which the crime was probably committed. The jury should remember that there is no appeal from their decision. If Sproule is found guilty, surely he will hang. If this happens, he will be another to swell the ranks of the men who have been the victims of circumstantial evidence. The terrible duty in deciding in this matter, beyond a shadow of a doubt as to the prisoner's guilt or innocence, is a heavy one. Let your verdict be the conscientious verdict of each of you. Above all, let each of you have the courage of your own conviction.
If the test of circumstantial evidence was never allowed as sufficient, jurors would be told that unless there was an eyewitness to a crime, they could not convict. The testimony of all the Crown witnesses has been reflected upon, but what motive could they all have to come here and give evidence against the prisoner? The defense has dwelt upon the probability of homicide on the part of others, then deliberately advanced the theory of suicide. But evidence has shown that the deceased was found without firearms of any kind. Neither is there the slightest ground to suppose Indians had done it for the purpose of robbery. No. The real motive was revenge on the part of the prisoner, extending over months, over years, and continuing down to the very time the homicide occurred. There were the threats he continually used up to the last, the collaboration about the time of the shot, also the time of Sproule's hurried departure, his flushed face, his angry look as he gazed up the hill while pushing off in his boat and working his rifle. The letter he left to men he could just as easily have spoken to, the sudden change of previously announced plans, his having borrowed another man's rifle to divert suspicion for a time, and the lesser report made by using that weapon instead of his own. The fact that he must have rowed all night, the landing he'd made in the spot where there was no trail, being found without blankets, and lastly his manner when ordered to drop his weapon and failing to inquire or manifest any desire to know even the nature of the charge against him. There is but one hypothesis on the part of the Crown, and it is my duty to bring forth everything in support of it. The Crown, the people of the country, do not want the prisoner's life if he is not guilty, or if you have the slightest doubt in your mind. But before, however, you convict him, you must be satisfied that the facts are incapable of any other hypothesis than that of the prisoner's guilt.
I will reserve my charge to the jury until tomorrow.
Autumn Assizes before the Honourable Mr. Justice Gray, 13th day.
I have now read the evidence from beginning to end, and it is certainly most unusual and extraordinary in character. I cannot define any other theory than that adduced by the Crown. The interests of society are in your hands. On the one side, and the life of the prisoner of the bar on the other. And I hope that we will be able to come to a conclusion which will be consistent with what is right between God and man.
Well, I guess that's it.
Oh, don't give up hope. We have
Yeah.
yet to hear from the judge and jury.
Yeah, sure.
The jury then retired at 4:40 p.m. to consider their verdict.
Several of the depositions taken at the preliminary examination should be given to the jury to refer to.
Objection.
It could create one of the most dangerous precedents I have ever heard of. Objection sustained.
The jury returned at 9:45 p.m.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have not, your lordship. We were unable to agree.
I must ask you, after having given a week to the case, to make a little further effort to come to some conclusion.
One of the jurymen wishes to refresh his mind about the man who was seen at the top of the hill shortly after the discovery of the murder.
Let's see if I can find it. The man afterwards I now know to be Charles House.
Would you give us another hour to consider?
Conceded.
At 11 p.m., the jury returned for the second time.
We find the prisoner guilty. However, we would like to accompany this with a recommendation for mercy.
I ask that the jury be polled.
I've never heard of this being done where a unanimous verdict is being given, especially when accompanied with a recommendation for mercy. I must ask for authority on this.
I hand you Bishop on Criminal Law, Volume 1, Section 1003.
Even with this, such is only optional with the court. I am satisfied the jury is unanimous, which is shown by the fact that their recommendation for mercy, and I will therefore adhere to the usual precedent.
I ask that my application be noted.
It is noted. I assure the jury your recommendation will be forwarded to the proper quarter.
So this is when I get it in the neck.
With the jury's recommendation for mercy, there's still...
Forget it, will you?
Don't give up, I mean...
The prisoner will rise. Does the prisoner have anything to say before sentence is passed? Robert Sproule, I find you guilty of the murder of Thomas Hammill. I sentence you to be hanged by the neck until dead on January the 5th, 1886, and may God have mercy on your soul.
They took Robert Sproule to a cell. The public reacted, firmly convinced he'd been wrongly convicted. Meetings were held.
Ladies and gentlemen, please!
Then more conflicting information began to seep out.
It was a lie.
Anderson made us do it.
There were suspicions against us. What could we do?
We was offered money.
3 times Sproule's execution was stayed while some legal battles were fought over the case.
I say there should be a review of this entire case.
The recommendation for mercy should be enough in itself.
No comment.
On October the 9th, 1886, Sproule was led to the gallows.
Yeah, you don't want that grub then?
No. Let's get on with it.
Is there anything you want to say?
Yes. I did not murder Thomas Hammill, although he had it coming. Somebody beat me to it. Go ahead and hang me. Hang an innocent man.
Remember her with care. Bluebell, her spell is everywhere. Too many men have failed to live their time, all cut down by the lure of a hard rock mine, all cut down by the lure of a hard rock mine.
The Bluebell incident was an historical drama done by the people of the Kootenays.